Good afternoon. Happy Savage Saturday. Keepers of the Cash. Gary B, the casual comic guy here. We're here with Savage Saturday Comic Review, episode 148. Took me a second to remember. Episode 148, but we're here with something very unique and different today. I'm going to show you guys an issue of Robert E. Howard, Lone Star Fictioneer, which was a fanzine published in the mid-70s. But before we get to that, there's a particular reason I'm showing you this particular issue. And that is, this is the first time in print of Robert E. Howard's The Sword Woman. So this is a first print and the first time that she appeared in print. Dark Agnes, or Agnes de Chastillon, is a great character created by Robert E. Howard. One of the fiercest beginnings of a character ever in story form. And as you can see, I'm a bit of a fan of it. There we go. And just a character that is near and dear to my heart. I love reading. There's only 3 stories of hers, and the last one, he died before he finished. And it was finished by another writer. And of course, we got this collected edition, which has a bunch more different stories in it, because there's only 3 Dark Agnes stories. But a great character with a very tragic beginning, and just a lot happens to her. And in those 3 tales, she grows into this warrior woman, which is fantastic. And part of what the Marvel Robert E. Howard, the Marvel Red Sonja was based on. It was part Agnes de Chastillon and part Red Sonja Rogatine from Robert E. Howard. They amalgamated those 2 together, and you ended up with Red Sonja that was in the Marvel Universe, who is now over at Dynamite. But I thought it was important for me to get this first printing. 1, it's not expensive. 2, this was in 1975 that this story first saw print. Howard could not sell these Dark Agnes stories back in the 30s. So after his passing in 1936, it was 39 years before this particular story saw its first printing and its first public view. Now, he did share that earlier with C.L. Moore. I think Catherine Lucille Moore, I believe. I could be wrong. But she loved the story. She kept urging Howard to do more with it and develop the character more. Said character was smarter than Conan, better warrior than his other warriors, and but she was best known for Jurel Ojori, and another great piece of fiction here. Great stories in there. And this was first published as Black God's Shadow, so back in the 30s as well. I believe 34, I could be wrong. But a great character. And I think another one that this is kind of based on, and this is Black Amazon of Mars from Leah Brackett. So if you like these type of strong female warriors, Dark Agnes is for you. And it's a great story. But we're going to just look at this issue. And this is one I had on my watch list for a while. I got this in just fantastic grade. And it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous book. And again, it's a fanzine, so you don't know the condition that you're going to get them in. But it was a little bit more than that. It was published really well. And I'm blanking all of a sudden here. I'm sorry. Let's go with the cover first. So we got Steve Fabian on the cover. And on the back cover, we have Howard Chaykin. Now, this is just a great, fierce battle scene. Now, you know me. I'm going to have pictures over here for you. But this is a thick fanzine, and it's pretty professionally made. Now, of course, this is issue number 2. I have issue number 4 on the way to me, and I still need to get issue 3, which isn't bad. Issue 1 will be the hard one. That one's 100 plus usually. But I need to get those as well. And so this is Robert E. Howard, Lone Star Fictioneer, and this is issue number 2, and this is from 1975. Again, 39 years after Robert E. Howard's death, before the Sword Woman saw print. And this was by the Median Chronicles. who had the copyright to this fanzine. And they did a great job in it. So we're just going to kind of show you a little bit of the insides, what you're getting into with something like this. Fanzines come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. Some are really well done. Some look like they're cobbled together, but they're still fun. And here we go. We have editorial page here with a great illustration by Roy Krenkel there. So you can see the format. It's actually really nice. And this is a magazine size, so that's really cool. A lot of fanzines aren't magazine size. They're really small. All right, so contributions. And you got pictures here of Robert E. Howard, Carl Potts, John and Marie Severin, and just some cool stuff, right? All the greats from the 70s that were contributing and putting out the stories that you, as a reader, loved, if you were a reader in the 70s. All right, so next, we just have a great piece of art. Again, Stephen Fabian. This title logo here is by Arnold Fenner. It gives you all that. So here it is, the very first appearance of the Sword Woman in print. It doesn't get any more of a first appearance than that. Her first publication ever in 1975. And the art throughout this is absolutely gorgeous. And I'll keep putting up art that's in this story. But this is in a huge format, super easy to read. And I've already read these stories, but it's lovely to have the first print, the first one that was ever published. And it's just amazing. And this character, like I said, if you've never read her, you're missing out. Again, beautiful art throughout the story. And we're not reading the story today. We're mostly just showing you what one of these fanzines consists of, because there's going to be a lot more in this than just this story. Just the fact that it held this story alone, to me, is quite amazing. And as you can see, this thing's in perfect shape. Whoever had this, I mean, I don't even know if they cracked it. This thing is gorgeous. So I really couldn't ask for a better condition first printing of The Swordswoman. So as we're getting through this story and it gets to the end, and you've seen me read her Dark Horse adaptations to you. If you're curious about those, that chronicles the Swordswoman story, just go back in my other Savage Saturday comic reviews and you will learn about the origin of Dark Agnes. And the way they did it in the Dark Horse comics was extremely accurate to the story, so it was a well done adaptation. But as just trying to get through this, her and Etienne Villiers, but there you go. Just trying to give you some of the pictures that are in this story. And then we had the end here. And then, of course, another great picture right here. Look at that. So you're getting this, and there's all sorts of incredible art in it. And you're just having a great time. Like, thumbing through this, especially now when you just know it's a part of history, is amazing. And one of my favorite things in this is a huge interview with Roy Thomas. Back when he was in his prime in the 70s and just fully engrossed in Robert E. Howard's properties. And this goes on for pages. And then we have Men Shall Die for This from Red Shadows. And this is just a 2-page fold-out spread with Solomon Kane coming across the body of this unfortunate young woman. And if you've ever read Red Shadows, Kane avenges her death. And he does it quite gruesomely. But a fantastic story, fantastic art, absolutely gorgeous. This is Alan Weiss on this art here. Okay, and then we got Dapper Roy Thomas right there. Nice little picture here. So we got this interview, which is I'd say about 10 pages. It's a great interview. It's really well done. Asks a lot of good questions and really gives you some insight into Roy's processes and thinkings. And Roy was also like very business-minded as well as story-minded. So it kind of gives you his insights on the business side of it as well, which is great. And he kind of tells you the history of how Conan came over to Marvel Comics, and that it was the first and fourth choice, and the circumstances that were surrounding that. Just a lot of fun to read. Another great piece of art in here, and this is Walt Simonson. And this is what this fanzine is. I mean, there's just so much goodness. Like I said, you had this huge interview. You had the first print ever of The Swordswoman. Now, this is cool. So now you have a portfolio, and this is of Rosella, a character from Solomon Kane in one of the stories. But you have a famous actress, which they don't name. They say, "An aside to the model, thanks for all your help, sweetheart." But it says, "The first reader who guesses the identity of our model for Rosella, she is a fairly well-known screen personality, will win a copy of the out-of-print Donald M. Grant hardback, A Gent from Bear Creek," written by Robert E. Howard, illustrated by Tim Kirk. Get those cards and letters in, folks. We want to hear from you. Now, she looks familiar. I was trying to research her. I have no idea who it is. Obviously, quite beautiful. But seeing she was in here, I kind of wanted to know who the model was. And for this Rosella character. And they just took some really cool, really fun pictures. And of course, I'll still keep showing you those. And then, not only was it enough that we had an interview with Roy Thomas himself, they also had an interview with Barry Windsor Smith with a spotlight on Conan with illustrations throughout by Marie Severin. Now, you can't go wrong with that. So, a Barry Windsor Smith interview to go with a Roy Thomas interview, to go with a few stories that were already in here. And you're just getting all this greatness. And this is still one single issue. And this was, I think, like $1 something back in the day. $1.50, I believe. But just, again, Barry talking about Conan, art, life, just a lot of good stuff. Some more young Barry Windsor Smith right here. Okay, and then this intricate little piece here from him. And then when we get to the wrap-up, we have, by this axe I rule, a special portfolio of King Kull by John and Marie Severin. So these two did the best Kull work ever. I just love Marie and John Severin's Kull work. They did a lot in his regular comic. Here's Kull with Brule the Spear Slayer, who would become his best friend and most trusted comrade. All right, just some pencils, some like sketching. Beautiful. And then this epic war scene right here. Just absolutely amazing. I mean, you got Kull just fighting off all these people that want to overthrow him and take him off the throne. And if you know anything about the Kull mythos, it's all the servants of Set. And these are all snake people that are wanting to overthrow him. And then we end it with a nice shot of Robert E. Howard. You can see the shadows of a few friends with him and taking the picture. Robert E. Howard just living out his stories and having a blast. But just great stuff. And when you're looking at this is just, it really is a trip back in time for you. If you're from that time, it's just great nostalgia. It takes you to a place that you haven't been to in a while, and it puts you in a mindset that just brings a smile to your face. And this is just promos for what's upcoming. And again, the Howard Chaykin art to end it. But again, first print ever in this book of The Swordswoman by Robert E. Howard, 39 years posthumously after his death, of course. And just thought it was a great piece of Robert E. Howard history to own, especially since it's of a character that I love so much. I just think Dark Agnes is such an underrated character, and I think there should be so much more done with her, just like I do with Solomon Kane and King Kull, where Conan gets a lot of the attention, and rightfully so. Conan's a great character. You know that he's my favorite, but I think these other lesser-known characters like Kull, like Bran Mak Morn, like Dark Agnes, like Solomon Kane, they're just so good, and they deserve much more stuff done with them, and more IPs out there developing their stuff, or more stories out there developing these characters and sharing them out in the world so they're not forgotten, because they're amazing characters that Howard built up and put a lot of work into. And when you read them, they're fantastic. It really does transport you to a different time, a different place, and it's just amazing. But that was it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I just wanted to show you guys what a fanzine from 1975 looked like, especially since it had that first appearance, first publication of The Swordswoman. And like I said, I was fortunate enough to get this in minty shape, so I'm very, very happy with that. And I hope you guys like the sneak peek inside. Let me know if you've ever seen this or heard of this. It's just a fun publication. But that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tagging along and learning a little bit about this fanzine, Robert E. Howard, Lone Star Fictioneer. And until next time, thank you for watching and keep it casual.